get into it. Let's have some fun.
Hi.
Hi. How are you today?
Oh man, I am like drained. We woke up. Well, I got up around like 8, 9-ish and read my book. I only had like 30 minutes of alone time before my boy woke up. And then we got ready. We went Christmas shopping, grocery shopping.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
I literally cannot believe it's almost December. I literally can't believe that it's almost the end of the year. Like, what happened? Where did it go?
Mhm.
How did we get here? I feel like we're living in the future because it's about to be 2023 and just saying that year sounds insane. I feel like my brain stopped at 2020. I always want to be like 2020 and I'm like it's not 2020 anymore.
The world
It's actually
stopped
been
at 2020 for a
I
second.
know. And it's crazy to think that are we even technically out of the pandemic yet?
Um, Technically, but COVID is still there. They just don't want to report on it anymore.
Okay. It's been almost 3 years since like we were in I mean, I guess not 3 years since we were in a pandemic, but since the pandemic started,
Started.
which is
Yep.
like insane to think. I think like I've been working home from home now. It'll be 2 full years, 3 full years, something like that. In March, I'm like, that's crazy. Like, so different. But I feel you on the tired wave. I went out last night. I had a
You
great
looked
fucking time.
great.
Thank you. Oh my god, listen. So one treated myself to some new things. I got the fucking cutest pair of platform Vans. Like they're just everything that I needed. But I feel like
Wait, is that the
I
same
posted
top
this
from
on
last
Facebook.
night?
It is the
Same
same
top?
time. I still look like yesterday. I spent the night at my friend's house, and then we went and got woke up at like 9 on the couch. We went downtown because she lives downtown. Got some coffee and like a muffin, and then we went to breakfast. I like swung by my house and took my dog out again. And then we went to brunch, had brunch, and then I came home and took a nap, and then I got up and I'm doing this. So yeah, I'm 100% still dressed like yesterday. But I'm feeling this shirt. It
It's a
fits
nice
me
shirt.
right.
It's cute. It makes the
Yes.
titties look nice.
Thank you.
For those who
Right? It's
aren't
like the
watching,
perfect.
you should do like a fit check. Like you should stand up and let the people see. For those who are
I don't have
watching,
the pants on anymore. I have on a similar pant, but they're just sweatpants. But
we don't
I'll give
care
you
about
guys
the
like
pants. We want to see the shirt. We want to see the titties sitting
yeah,
right. So
a little
let's see it.
OOTD. The shirt came from I don't know. There you go. Yeah, it like just fits
Ooh.
perfect. The shirt came from if you guys have the store, it's called Windsor. You guys have one in Charlotte.
Mhm.
Um, the top came from Windsor. It's a $21 white tank top. I know that sounds expensive for just a plain white tank top, but like the neckline's really good. It's like double lined. Like it's
It's
just,
cute.
it's right. Yes, it was worth it. I got these really cute tan pants that they had kind of like the flare at the bottom from Forever 21. And then I have the jacket right here.
Yeah,
I
that's a
got this like
cute
super
jacket.
cute. Yeah, well, I needed like a warmer winter coat because it's starting to get cold, and I'm gonna be up in the like uh, more mid eastern like area
Mhm.
this winter up there in like DC where it snows and stuff. So I was like, it's time to invest in some nice things. So I got this from Forever 21 too, but it's like a jean jacket, but then it has like the lining on the inside.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you asked me about this because I was literally like, I want to talk about my outfit because I was feeling myself last night. Um, but yeah, I got this from Forever 21, and then the shoes from the Van store. They were like, I need to like put that outfit back on and take a photo in it because it deserves a photo. Because I got these like the like classic checkered Vans,
Mhm.
but they're like the checkered is like I don't know how to explain it. It almost looks like it was like printed wrong. Like it's not a perfect checkered
Yeah.
thing, but it's kind of like trippy. But they're like kind of jean, like denim blue, and then they have
Yeah.
like a white platform, and they're low top, and they're just like I even listen. I committed hard I even got the Van socks.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
like
And
she did it,
you're
but
still white.
yes, yes. And the thing is that I was like realizing this yesterday that like I genuinely think it's due to the consistency that I'm like so proud of myself for the consistency that I have given myself this year. That was like my number one goal was consistency and fitness this year. And just like the level of confidence and not even just from like obviously like yeah when you losing weight and it makes you feel better but it's just like the overall thing. It's not even just the weight loss. It's just like I feel comfortable in my body. I know that I'm taking care of my body. And so, like, I just truly feel like I have begun to like really step into myself. I think like I had this moment in the bathroom. If you know, you know. When you in the bathroom with your homegirl sitting on the toilet at the club because you just need a second. And I just like looked up at my friends and I was like, you guys, I just want you to know that like right now in this outfit, the way that I look, like I feel
Like a bad
like
bitch.
the I feel like a bad bitch. And I was like, but for like my whole life, there's this person that I always imagined that I wanted to be. And like right now,
You're her.
I feel like I'm her. Like I'm not, it's not an
Aw.
imagination anymore. Like she's here, she has arrived, she has showed up. And
Yes.
I was like, it's just a beautiful thing. Like literally, no one can tell me shit. I was literally in the mirror in the bathroom and I was like, damn, I'm fucking cute. And it was nice. I like uh I'm a very social butterfly when we're at shows. Like I'm not afraid to talk to people and we don't have a lot of shows here. Not a lot of big DJs like come here. It's a small town. So it was kind of like a big deal that we had an actual like name in our city doing a show. So it brought out a really good crowd and good people and I just like kept meeting so many different girls and we were just like talking and I was like you're so pretty. And they're like, I'm pretty. They're like, girl, you're fucking stunning. I was like, honestly, I am. Thank you.
You know what?
I was feeling myself.
I want to like I'm so happy for you, but I also want to try like what you said that people like came up to you and talking about you're pretty. Have you heard of the red nail theory?
No, tell me about it.
I
I want to
want to
know.
try I want us to try it and to see if it's true and to do like field research, but apparently you get hit on way more and like notice more if you have red nails. Just cuz like red
Oh,
is
I'll do
supposed to
it.
be a really attractive color. So, I want us to both try it and do field research and see what happens.
Oh, I will do that shit. And it's Christmas time, so I feel like, it's very on theme. I'll do the red nails. I'll do some research for you, girl.
Yeah, I want to try it
Um,
too. I want to see if it has an effect on Kev.
Something else that a lot of people don't know. So I'm one of those white toenail stands. I only paint my toenails white ever. Like
No, you
that's
don't switch
it.
up?
No.
Hmm,
Mm-mm. First of all, I don't like feet, and I feel like white toenails just
make it look
give the
clean.
appearance of clean feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it pops on pretty much everyone's skin. But fun fact: white toenails is actually an aphrodisiac.
Huh. See, whenever
So
I get
it's
my
like
feet done,
desirable.
I make them the same color as my nails. So I don't necessarily do white, but I make sure that they match.
I can fuck with that. But see, I don't know what it is about me. Like I used to do black for a while, but I tried to like go outside of my comfort zone. And I think I did like a purple or something or like a blue one time. And I was like, no, I fucking hate it. Get it off. Like get it off of it right now. Give me the white toes back. So I only do white toes. But yeah, I'd be down for that. I'm down to do some red nail research.
Yeah, and try
I'm
like
gonna have
I go ahead.
go ahead.
Uh, I would say
I was gonna say I'm gonna
try.
be clicking them all over the place.
Yes, I'm gonna paint mine and see what happens with Kev. But also, I since you're single, I also want you to try this other thing. I think it's called vidging, but it's taking like your vagina juices and using it as perfume, and because
Oh,
apparently
I know
like
you told me about that.
Yeah.
The pheromones. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to
It's
work some
like right
confidence
here.
up to doing that.
It's like right here and like right here on
I
your
don't know.
wrist and your
I
neck.
don't like to get hit on. I don't like to get hit on too much in the city because it's a college town. So a lot of these kids, it's a lot of children.
Babies. Yeah.
Like, yeah, babies. Like, there's so many times at the bar where like someone hits on me and they walk off, and me and my friends look at each other and we're like, God, what were they, like 19 years old? Like, they didn't even have, they had X's on their hand. They didn't have a wristband. Like, they, you can't drink. I'm like, I'm 27, honey. I'm grown. But yeah, no, I had a really good night. I even got like a cute little bracelet. It's got like a
Aw.
little sunflower on it. Yeah, it was such a good night. It's a different, it's not my typical like go to for music. It was a bass show. My friends like bass music. And of the EDM music, the bass scene is a lot bigger than the house scene here. So it tends to draw more of that out. But it was still a really good show. It was really vibey. The visuals were sick. The lights were sick. And yeah, I felt like a bad bitch. I looked at my friend and I was like, you know what? I was like, I think this is the first time truly um, ever in my life that I've been out and like my outfit fit right. It felt super comfortable. I was super proud of it. Like I think it looked super good. I also like I'm starting to realize my vibe is like freeze me somewhere in like the late 80s and then like in the 90s. Like that's what I want to look like all the time. Like I just came straight from the 90s. I don't know. I feel like the big hair, the curly bangs, like the denim, the flare pants, like it's just giving
Well,
that, you know? And that's what it needs to give.
I think it's just coming back around in general because all I wear now is like the flare pants. All I used to wear was skinny jeans, and I just think it's funny how it's like coming full circle. I even like the whole like boyfriend wide leg pant. Those are like my
Oh
jam.
my God, yes. Listen, so on my birthday, I originally ordered like a more cargo, like boyfriend fit pair of like army green pants from White Fox, and they're so fucking cute. They didn't look right with the top. They didn't end up like going well with the top that I got. That's why I didn't wear them. I wore different pants, but that was another outfit. That's what I'll say. Like the last two times I went out, I've been like, I've kind of been riding a high because I've been like very hermit this year. And I had a friend that moved here. And since I'm moving from here, I've been like kind of going out with her a little bit more and like taking her out, introducing her to the friends that I do have, so that she has some solid people to hang out with once I leave. So that's been like encouraging me to get out of the house a little bit more on the weekends and like, you know, let my hair down, have some fun. But I don't know, we've just like kind of had like things going on the last couple of weeks. And so I've like kind of been thriving and vibing and just like bouncing around. But I'm telling you, my last two outfits that I wore out, I wore like that boyfriend fit cargo pant. And they were kind of like, they weren't high waisted, but they weren't low waisted. They were kind of like mid rise, like right at the belly button. And I wore that like kind of similar vibe with like a black crop tank top because I live in a crop top. Like, bury me in a crop top, please. But same thing. I was like, yo, I love that this more like old school retro vibe is
Yes.
coming back because I just feel like it fits me so much better. Like, I have no hips, and I just like went through all my clothes this week because I'm moving, and I have no hips at all. Like, that's something we still working on in the gym. It's going to be a long time until I have them. So I was trying on my skinny jeans, and I only found one pair that I'm keeping that I was like, I'm gonna keep because like these actually are do fit well. But I realized I don't like the way that the skinny jeans fit me because it just makes me look narrower and narrower the more I get down, and I feel like it gives the effect of looking like Gru from Despicable Me.
You know, it's funny. I don't watch that. I've never watched any of the
Ugh.
Minion movies.
I've seen like, the first and I think the second one. I haven't seen the mini movies, but do you know who Gru is though, the character?
He's on. He's with the Minions, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He's very like it's like apple shape.
And he has like
I
the
feel
stick
like that's
legs.
what
Oh my
yeah,
gosh!
I feel like that's
Stop.
what
You
skinny
do
jeans
not look
make
like
me look
that.
like. Like it gives me no I know I don't look like that, but like I feel like that's kind of the effect though that skinny jeans give because it's like I've got the big boobs and the wide chest and like shoulders, but then like we're slowly getting smaller and smaller. So I don't know. I just like the flowiness and the retroness. So yeah, I was feeling myself. I was posting on the gram. I was like, should I look cute?
You should post more on the
I
gram.
know.
Did a whole. You should
I
have done a
know.
whole OOTD.
I
Mm-hmm.
know. I need to. I think now that I'm finding my style more and I'm getting more confident, I will say, like, yesterday I was a little rushed because I went to the mall, I went shopping, and then I, like, ran home, threw all my stuff in a bag, and actually went over to my friend's house to get ready because we were supposed to go to dinner. But we thought the person we were going to dinner with was meeting at us at her house. Then we were going to dinner, and he was at the restaurant. So we had to, like, throw it together really fast. That's I did like a no makeup day, which honestly was fine. I'm glad that I did that. But yeah, I didn't have a lot of time before we like ran out the door. But yeah, it was a good time. So not mad about it.
Yeah. Well, for our topic today, we wanted to, it's going to be kind of heavy, but
Yeah.
recently there has been a murder in, well, the victim is from Charlotte. So it kind of like hits home. But if you haven't
Yeah.
heard, Shanquella Robinson,
I ca- um, I'm gonna look up her last name right
I
now.
think it's
Shanquilla
Robinson.
Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was so crazy. So um, I heard about this because I'm also riding high because me and my best friend that have been like in a friend fight, we got to talk this weekend.
Oh, wait,
That's
spill
in a
that
better
first.
place.
Spill that first.
Yeah. I'm not gonna like give all the details on like what's been going on because it's a very personal situation for he and I. But
Hmm.
we hadn't talked in like almost a month, and it was like so weird because I literally like this is someone that I used to talk to literally every single day for like the last 4 or 5 years of my life. So it was just so odd, but he finally reached out to me this week and was like open to talking, and we caught up and we had a really good positive conversation. And it just seems like things are moving in a better direction. So that felt really good. I've like honestly been feeling really sad about that over the last month and like been holding that in a lot, but it felt good to talk and both understand each other's perspectives and experience and come to an understanding, agree to disagree on some things, but be in a place where everyone's openly understanding and receiving and hearing each other's
Hmm.
messages. So,
Well, good.
it happens. Yeah. But no, we were on the phone and I was like talking to him, catching him up on my life a little bit. And I was telling him how I was going to Mexico and he was like, oh my God, be careful who you're going with. And I was like, oh, what do you mean? Like, and I told him who I'm going with. He knows our friends, but that's when he told me that a girl had died and I had not heard about it. I had like seen one person post something about her dying in Mexico, but I hadn't really seen anything about it. And so I started looking it up and when I found out she was from Charlotte, like you said, it hit home and I just kind of got super invested in like, what the fuck is going on? Do you want to tell the story
Yeah.
or what
So,
happened?
Shanquella Robinson, she went on a trip with her friends to Mexico. And during that trip, um, her friend,
I'm sorry to cut you off really fast, but I just want to put this out there. This is all alleged. We don't like this is just what we know from what we've researched.
mhm,
So it's all alleged. Okay, go ahead.
yeah, her friends, like, there's a video out there, but she had gotten in a fight with her friends, and um, it was a graphic fight. Like she wasn't fighting back, but they were like hitting her in like the head and in the back, and um, after that, we don't know like the time frames because it's still under investigation. But she died, and the friends like they booked an earlier flight and came home, and they told her parents that she died from alcohol poisoning, but the autopsy came back and said she didn't die from alcohol poisoning. She died from like trauma to from like her spine. from like her spine
In
being
her neck.
cracked in her neck. And the mother was saying that when she talked to the group of friends, each of them had a different story, so nothing really made sense. So, yeah, right now the FBI is getting involved for her investigation. There's a GoFundMe up to help with that. And also, Kyrie Irving donated like $65,000 to help with the
Yeah, I saw that
investigation.
yesterday.
Yeah, it's just heartbreaking because I mean I've been on several trips outside of the country with friends, and it's just heartbreaking because I mean the trips all went well for me, but it's heartbreaking because I hear all the time like once you go on a trip with your friends, that's how you know if like you're actually friends. And I mean I'm thankful that I had great experiences traveling with my friends, but it's just sad that people in your friend group really like this is just my own speculations, but it's I feel like they were jealous of her. Like she was a successful hairdresser in Charlotte, and I just felt like it was jealousy on there. I feel like the whole thing was
Yeah.
premeditated, in my opinion.
Yeah. She also had her own boutique that she opened too. So
Mhm.
I essentially kind of saw the first same initial story. One of the first things that I saw was the video. I didn't look it up, but
I was there.
it's circulating
Yeah.
on social media, so it's there. Yeah, and it's a really messed up situation. So I watched a couple different like news things, and then I also like, again, right now because no one's been convicted and all of that. That's why I'm saying like it's alleged. We don't know. They haven't like released. They haven't arrested anyone or anything like that. But so I was like reading, or I was on like YouTube too, like looking at the T channels of like all these different people that have like some of them have called and talked to them. Because there was one friend, his name was Nazir. So it was the friend's birthday who they were actually going to Cabo to celebrate his birthday. He got there the day after. So this is the crazy thing. She landed in Cabo, and within 24 hours of being in
She was
Mexico
dead.
with her friends, she was dead.
Hmm.
So she wasn't even there for half the trip, and he didn't get there until the next day. And so I guess he like had went on live on TikTok or YouTube or something to like basically tell his idea of the story. And I don't know how good I don't really judge anyone's I try not to judge anyone's character too much online, because the reality is that only the people that were there know the whole truth and the real truth. um and also like I just don't know enough about this person to like be like he's this, he's that, or blah blah blah. But he's essentially saying, that when he got there the next day, he noticed something was wrong, and he was the person that sat with her until the nurse came, and they said that she, wasn't dead. But apparently, and I don't know how true this is, but I've been hearing that she did not immediately die
Mm-mm.
from
No,
the
she didn't immediately die,
attacks.
but from those injuries, she died later on.
Yeah, well, apparently also that there was some kind of prescription medication allegedly that they had um, in the hotel room with them, that one of the friends tried to like give her, and he gave her too many of the prescription pills, which also ended up ultimately leading to her dying. But I didn't know how true that was because, again, the autopsy says that she died from the injuries. And the crazy thing is that her parents had to spend $6,000 to fly her body back to the United States from
I
Mexico.
can't believe they left the
Um,
body there. Like, how horrible, how sick. How do you think that is okay to leave the body and just come back and act like nothing happened? Like, that
yeah, and then on
infuriates
top of
me.
that, like it's all sick and like sadistic and terrible, but like the fact that y'all also had this whole lie, and like just clearly not educated people, because then on top of that you all reached out to the family on your own accord, but none of your stories aligned,
Hmm.
like, which is crazy. And again, allegedly, like what I've heard that this whole fight was about was, I guess there was two guys there at the trip that both had a crush on this girl, and she liked, one of them versus the other one because if you've seen the video, then you know. But they literally beat this girl up while she was butt naked.
I didn't realize
Like,
it was
um,
over liking someone. That's what I was trying
yeah.
to find
So,
out
or
what
at
it was
least what I've
about.
So the only thing I could find that they're saying that the fight was about was that apparently there was one guy that she liked. I think his name was like Khalil or something like that, started with a K, and she was in the room. I guess essentially like hooking up with him, and I believe the other guy Malik, which was supposed to be like one of her best friends,
Mm.
was jealous. So he ran to the girl Dejanay, I think her name was, basically she's a bully, and told her about it knowing that she would get angry and upset for what, because she's jealous. And she went in the room and just started like beating on her, and you literally see her get flung over
She
and
was
like slam
flung,
on the ground. Yeah, and
and she was
that was probably the moment that her neck broke.
and she was going in on her head too. Like, did you see the punches she was putting on her
Yes.
head?
And then
Like,
the part that's so sad is the guy on recording the video. First of all, why are you recording? Fucking break it up. But two, and I think that was the guy that was the instigator of it all that was recording. But two, he's like, damn, Quillo, why don't you at least fight back? And she even said no.
yeah, her parents were saying she's
Like,
not a fighter. Like, she's not going to fight. She doesn't want to fight. And it's just like, I just don't. It's just. Have you ever had a friend be that jealous of you before, or knew of a friend that was that jealous?
um, I I have known of people who were that jealous of me, but I wouldn't consider them a friend. So like when I worked at Red Ventures, there was a girl that I worked with that literally hated me for no reason. Like I could not figure out why she hated me, and she was a mutual friend of my very good friends. And I remember one time we were all hanging out in their apartment, and she left, and I was saying something, and my friend looked at me, and these are some real ass friends. My friend Jenny looked at me, and she was like, don't trust that fucking girl. She was like, fuck that. She was like, every time you hang out here with us and then you leave, all she does is try to talk shit about you. She's like, we shut that shit down, but she is just jealous of you for no fucking reason. It's just because you're another light skinned, pretty, curly haired girl. So you're a threat to her. Um, and I will say, like, that's the closest I've ever been to someone being like, there was like one time where something happened that she wasn't even involved in, but she tried to be like, "Oh, next time I see her, I'm gonna fight her on gay. I'm a beat her ass, blah blah blah." And I remember she was at my friend's house. We lived in the same apartment complex, and she was at my friend's house, and I was walking by, and like she like tried to come out on the balcony and started like acting fucking crazy, and my friends were like, "Absolutely not." They sent her about her way. They were like, you're not doing that. We don't do that here. Like, you can go somewhere with that. That girl has never done anything to you." Um, so I can say that like I've definitely seen people that are jealous like that, but I wouldn't say any of my close friends because I'm gonna be 100% real with you. When I start to pick up on that energy, and I'm very intuitive on energy, I don't keep those people around me or in my life.
So I don't know if I've ever had someone jealous of me before, mainly because I just don't pay attention. And if someone is, I'm just like, why? Literally, like, I'm not a person to be jealous about. But this one girl I used to live with, um, I don't know if it was jealousy, but let me know if you think. But she would always be like, "You're too pretty to hang out with the friends that you have." Um, and then like whenever I would do something, she would run to my ex and tell him and like try and make me look bad because I still liked him. I was trying to get her
Yeah.
back, but and then she would always like make comments about like, "Oh, just eat salmon and spinach for the week, and you'll lose so much weight and you'll look really good." I don't
Oh yeah,
know.
no, she's absolutely jealous because so I think like a big thing I've had to learn this year is like there's certain times where people say certain things to us that like truly is just like constructive criticism or for our better good. But most, I will say that's far and few. Most things that people say out loud to us is a clear projection of what they're feeling on the inside. And so I think like in making comments like that, she was probably jealous of the fact that regardless of where you were at, you were comfortable and confident in yourself. And that was enough for you. And she is lacking that in herself. So she's trying to point out the things that she doesn't like about herself and the things that she thinks that she needs to be doing and like put that on you. But the reality is she's just jealous of you because she wishes that she could be in the same place that you could be in. You know what I mean? And like, especially if she's running back to your ex to like, she's like actively kind of trying to tear you down, like, and the only reason I feel like why people do that is because they're jealous, because there's something in you, in themselves, that they're lacking, that they see in you as a person. And so they're going to do everything in their power to try to bring you down. I mean, I feel like that's what people who aren't on your level do, right? Like they're going to do everything in their power to try to bring you down to their level. But the reality is that you're already up here. So there's nothing that they can do that's going to bring you down to their level. And eventually that person will fade and fall off because
Yeah,
life will naturally shift them out.
we're definitely not friends anymore. We ended up getting in like a physical altercation. And we ended up going to court over it and everything. And it was a stressful time.
See, so that's something that's like different for me. It's like I've never really had friends that I've never gotten like really in like a fight or like had friends that like to like physically fight people.
Oh man, you want to
Um
hear this story?
yeah, absolutely. Lay it on me.
So it was just like, so it was way back in the day. I want to say it was like 2016, maybe. Yeah, I want to say it was like 2016. We had just moved into a new apartment. It was me, the girl, and her sister. And my best friend at the time, I'm not gonna say her name, but we all lived in like the north side. Friend lived on the south side. But me and my best friend would always hang out like after work because we worked near each other. And so one weekend we were getting ready to go out. I didn't realize anyone was home. So we were in the living room getting ready, like we're doing each other's hair to go to the club. And then I get a text like, "Hey, can you turn on the music?" And I was like, "Oh, my bad. I didn't realize anyone was home." So we went into my room and continued getting ready in my room, like closed the door so there's like a buffer and put the music on there, but didn't have it like super loud. And then like going into my room, not even 2 minutes later, I heard a knock on my door, like ch-ch-ch. And I opened the door and she's there, and I'm like, "Oh, hey." And she's like, "I heard what you said." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "I heard what you said." I'm like, "What'd I say? What do we say?" And then the sister comes out and was like, "Yeah, we heard what you said. Don't try to act dumb now." And I'm like, "What are you literally talking about? We have no idea." And so my friend gets upset, so she starts to come up behind me. So we're all just like yelling at each other at my bedroom door. I don't know who swung first or whatnot, but I think we swung at the same time. It was my friend behind me, the roommate, and then the roommate's sister behind her. The sister reaches around the roommate and tries to punch me. I punch back. And then we're in the living room. All of us are just going at it, like punching each other. Like my lip gets hit. My dress, the strap off my dress is like pulled apart. Um, so my best friend and the roommate are trying to pull me and the sister apart. And then as soon as we get apart, the roommate goes after my friend, and then my friend like hits her in the eye and like breaks her eye socket. So she decides to call the cops.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. She decides to call the cops. The cops come, they do their thing. They're like, they get all of our stories. They asked me if I want to press charges, and I'm like, no. Um, they ask everyone if they want to press charges. We're all like, no, but then the roommate's like, yes, I want to press charges. And so she goes downtown to file.
Her sister started it.
Yeah, so she goes
What?
downtown, files her shit or whatever. And we're like, well, it's still early. You want to go out to the club still? And I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. So I just like, then I realized, oh fuck, my dress, the strap is broken. So we change, we go out to the club, and then she's like, spend the night at my place. There's too much going on there. And I don't know how they got my friend's address, but Sunday morning, she gets served with papers for a simple assault. And so, yeah, so we really did that. And then, so I go back to the apartment and gather all my shit because she was like, you're just going to move in with me. I have an extra room. You're just going to move in with me, get all your clothes. We'll worry about the rest later. And so I moved out. And then, like, I want to say, like, the week later, I got a truck and got all my furniture out. And then she served me with papers. She served me herself with papers, which at the time I was like, yo, what the fuck is this? Why are you serving me? Isn't a third party supposed to be serving me? She showed up at my job and served me with papers because I stopped paying rent. I told her I was going to stop paying rent. So she tried to file like a civil suit against me for not paying rent.
Oh my gosh, that's insane. Yeah, no, see, I've never like I will say I've had two roommates like my first roommate situation ever. I did have some crazy roommates and like I did come home one day and like my initial thought when I walked into my apartment was that someone broke into our apartment. I was like looking around like what the fuck happened? Like there was shit everywhere. There was shit broken on the floor. Vases were broken. There was clothes everywhere. The coffee table was flipped over. And so like I'm getting off of work, walking in like thinking that like someone just fucking broke into our apartment. But as I start to pay attention and realize and look, I'm like I noticed specifically that my friend that so like basically it was one of those like a college apartment where it's like everyone has their own room and their own bathroom,
Yeah.
but then we share a living room, a kitchen, and a laundry room.
Yep.
It was like one of those situations. And so me and my friend moved into, they didn't have like a completely empty unit where we could find like two more people to move in with us. So we moved into like two other girls that had been living there for a couple years because two of the girls had moved out. Now I know why those fucking girls moved out because those roommates were crazy. We ended up getting one of them kicked out of the apartment because she was literally praying death upon us and rolling dice in her closet, speaking in another language.
Oh my
Yeah, it was
God. It's
some
not her
freaky
putting a
shit.
hex on you guys.
Girl, I have some roommate stories for you. She finally got kicked out because one day she would like always turn the air on so cold and like if I touched the thermostat she'd have a fucking panic attack. So I was like sleeping in my taking a nap in my room one day with my window open because it was so cold in the house. I had to open the window in the summer to let the heat in my room. Okay? That's how cold the fucking house was. And I like wake up to like someone pulling on my window and I'm like it alarmed me. I thought someone was trying to break into my apartment because my unit, like where my room was, had the window by the door, and she's like leaning over a 5-story balcony, like trying to pull my window shut. And I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And she's like, "You're causing the utilities to be more expensive because we always had overages on our utilities." And that was finally like the final straw after like a long list of other things going on that got her kicked out. Because I called my landlord and I was like, "You need to fucking like, this is not okay. Like, she needs to go." So she finally got kicked out for that. But there was another girl that lived across the room from her. And she was like kind of rude to us at first, but I think she was scared of our other roommate. And come to find out, that roommate had like 90 oil lamps in her room. She was using 98% of the power in the room or in the entire apartment, they said. So they said anything we plugged in was automatically going to cause overages because she was using so much electricity in her room. Meanwhile, she's harassing me about my window being open, telling me I'm causing the power to be up.
That's fucking.
Like, insane, right? She got kicked out though, but whatever. So she's gone. And the other roommate, she was kind of rude and always sided with her, but I think that she was just scared of her because she'd been living with her for years. So for a while, we had like a little lull of like peace. But my old roommate Bree, I don't know, the two of them, they just did not vibe. They did not get along well. And so I start to notice that it's all of Bree's stuff that's like thrown all over the
Hmm.
place. And the thing is, when we moved in, we completely refurnished the living room because the two girls that moved out took everything with them.
Yeah.
So we put everything that was in there in there. And her mom really gifted us a lot of that furniture. Vases broken, coffee tables flipped open, the glasses broken out of it. Her magazines that we had out like on the side
Who did that?
table ripped up all over the place. It was the other girl, the one that was still living there. She did all of that. And so like I called my roommate being like, "Hey, so
Why?
she wasn't home. I was one at home. I could not tell you why. I don't know what had happened. I don't know how we got to this point. Like that's why I tell you, I was so confused when I walked in. I thought someone broke into our apartment. But I had called her to let her know, like her stuff's messed up. She was at work. She clocked out of work, left work, came to the house in a rage and was like literally banging on this girl's door, like ready to like fight her. And I kept being like, Bree, we should just call the cops. It's vandalism. Like, and she was like, no, don't fucking hide in your room. Like, don't fucking hide in your room. Like, you want to destroy all my shit that my mom gave me. And then you're just going to fucking hide in your room. The girl did not, she was home. She did not come out of her room. She even had her lights off and everything for hours. And so, you know what my friend Brie did? Oh my God. I cannot believe this, Rachel. So she had this like super nice antique wooden rocking chair that sat outside of her door and like some like, uh, they're like the prayer candles. I
Yeah.
don't know how to explain them. They
Yeah.
have like Jesus on them.
Hmm.
Um, and like she had like a little, you know, like a little table set up thing outside of her door. She took that chair and she threw that chair off a 5-story high balcony into the parking lot. Watched that thing shatter through the candles. She took, I think it was like uh, eggs or like cookie dough or something, and like threw it at her car. And so then at that point, the girl called the cops. And when the cops showed up, honestly, when they looked at the amount of shit that was broken in the apartment and then like the chair, and like she didn't damage her car, like, you know, an egg's not gonna
Yeah.
break your car. Like, you're gonna go get your car washed, like, and it's gonna be fine. And to be honest with you, the cops were like, I mean, you guys can press charges against each other for like vandalism because they never ended up in a physical altercation because the girl never came out of her room until the cops showed up.
Yeah.
But they, like, honestly though, like looking at like what she broke versus what you broke, like it kind of just looks like you guys kind of would just break even. So like it's not really, you know, it's up to you. You can do it if
Did
you
she do
want. Like we're
it?
gonna take the report. No, neither one of them ended up pressing charges. We actually, our lease was ending in like just a couple months. So I was like, can we just like all coexist peacefully for like 2 months? But when I tell you, I did not realize how heavy that living situation was weighing on me until the day that I moved out. And this was my first apartment since I moved out. And when I moved out, I moved back in with my mom for like 2 months until me and my boyfriend at the time had found an apartment. And moving back in with my mom was never something I ever wanted to have to do, but I felt
So
even
much
the
better.
day of like the first day back, yes, and I had not realized how much that was weighing on me, but like it just goes to show you though that you have to be so careful about the energy that you keep around you
Which
and the
is
people that you keep
crazy
around you.
because, like, you kind of feel those energies with different relationships. So I wonder what kind of energies Shanquella felt with that group of friends. Like, she couldn't have been at peace.
Yeah.
She couldn't have been
Yeah,
at
no, there's
peace.
no way. There's no way. I'm gonna apologize if my lighting is getting darker, as we all know. it's getting darker earlier now, and like as I'm sitting here, I'm like noticing my lighting's getting darker and darker. But yeah, no, there's no way. And like I'll tell you this, like I'm very picky. Like we're I'm going to Tulum at the beginning of the year, and I'm going with a very small group of friends. And honestly, preferably when I travel, I prefer to travel really like I don't really want to be more than five, maybe six. And sometimes that could be pushing it. Like I'm all for like a two or three friend person, like
I think
little
three
getaway, like
is the
real,
best group number.
yeah,
Three.
like real small. Because I mean, I found like a couple different things when I've gone out with groups of girls that were too big. I feel like there's always some kind of drama or tension around everyone dressed one way, so one person either feels underdressed or
Hmm.
overdressed, which I don't get out of my fucking face with that. Like dress what makes you feel comfortable, wear that. Okay? Because that's what I'm wearing. All right? But then two when there's too many people, you have too many uh, and I don't think it's wrong for everyone to have like an opinion or an idea or like a certain craving of what they want when they go out. But like when you're out with a big group of people, it's hard to appease everyone. That was like a lot of people on my birthday dinner, like after dinner and after we went to that first like rooftop bar, a lot of people started kind of dying off as like you left, then Gabby left, then my friends Kaylee and Tanya left. Like they kindly started dying down. But like I was actually kind of very appreciative of that because I was able to be like, I'm out with these three or four or five people. This is what I want to do. They're all down for that. Like I didn't feel like I had 13 different people's like feelings to take into consideration to try to like
Hmm.
accommodate and not in a way that like I get it's my birthday, but at the same time, like I want to make sure everyone's enjoying themselves. Like I don't know, it's just easier when there's less
Yep.
people. There's less friction, less tension. And so I think I'm really big on that. And then secondly, like I say, I learned this lesson really last year of like you just have to really be careful who you're traveling with. And I'm glad that I've done a lot of traveling in the states with my friends before I made a decision to start traveling out of the states with my friends. And like I remember we were looking at booking Airbnbs, and the first one we applied, like we paid half for, and like tried to get, they were ending up they were taking their home off the market. So we didn't get that Airbnb, so we had to get another one. And we were like, it's Tulum. We're trying to be bougie, like get a nice little penthouse, whatever. But the prices started going up. So one of our friends was like, well, what if we like invited more people to come? And we absolutely shut that shit down so fast. We were like, no,
No.
like it would depend because I don't want to travel out of the country with a big group of people. And
Mm-mm.
then two, I don't want to travel out of the country with people that I don't know and I've never traveled with before because that's a big commitment and it's not saying that there's everyone can't have their own travel styles, but all travel styles don't
No.
mesh together
You
well
know what's
always.
funny?
Like
I've actually
I had
traveled with someone I never met before. It was a mutual friend. But surprisingly, it worked out. Like, I met her on the trip. I want to say we went, where did we go first? We went to Belize first. And that's like the first time I met
ooh,
her. But she was really, really cool. And it all ended up working out just because, like, our personalities meshed.
yeah.
So, but at the same time, I'm always like, I never have like a pair when I travel. So it's like if I travel with one friend and then they invite another one of their friends, it's not like I invite someone additional too. So I'm like, they can off
Yeah.
me. But it always worked out.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've traveled with people that I traveled with people I didn't know for the first time last year when I went to Miami. So I knew I was good friends with two of the guys. So one of them is like one of my best friends, Ron. He was the one that invited me on the trip. And then I knew someone else that he worked with. His name was D because we had worked together at Red Ventures. So I knew him very well, and like I'd hung out with him plenty. And I met his girlfriend. I was good friends with her. His girlfriend didn't come on the trip with us. Excuse me. But them two, they came, and they were the only two people I'd known, but I had never traveled with them before. And then They invited one other guy friend, Slim, which is so funny because now he's like one of my best friends. I talk to him all the time. He's such a good person. But he came. I hadn't ever met him before. And then we had our friend Emily, who I like spoke on FaceTime once or twice before. And we had like kind of seen each other in passing, but we didn't know each other. She went and then she brought her best friend. And we actually had a really, really good time. Um, but also those are people that Ron is someone I trust very well, and
Ron's
the
a good
people that he
guy.
brings around me have always been very, yeah, been
Hmm.
very good people. So I trust him, and then now we're actually all really, really good friends, and we're planning hopefully a trip out of the country here soon,
Yeah.
next year as well with that friend group. But no, and I remember being really nervous before that trip though because I was traveling with people that I didn't know for the first time. And that was a little nerve wracking for me because that was something I'd never done before. Because it's just, it just depends. It's also like, what's everyone's vibe when you go? Like, what is everyone trying to do? Some people, I think that's another thing that me and my friends have been like very good about, like with planning our trip to Mexico, being like, these are the things I'm down for. These are the things I'm not down for. How does everyone feel about that before we started booking stuff?
Hmm.
And also, we just like have a very good mutual respect. Like, we are going to a festival, but it's a 18-hour festival, and we're going to be there for 6 days. So like that's only going to partake one
Yeah.
day. And there's a couple other like big name DJs that are going to be out there playing that we do want to see. But like, I like that I was able to openly say like, okay, well, like if you guys are going to go out to the club every single night while we're there, like I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Um, and they're like, yeah, no, that's totally fine. We get that. And like they're down to go see like the ruins and like actually experience
Hmm.
Tulum and the culture and stuff too, which was like really important to me because I'm like, honey, when I'm spending thousands of dollars to get out of the country, like I'm not just going on a trip to get fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely
For my
not.
30th birthday, because I turn 30 next year, I told Kev I really want to go to either Mexico or Jamaica. And I'm like, you got to get your fucking passport because we're going. Like, at the top of the year, we're going to start planning it. And he's never been out of the country. So I'm excited to travel with him. We've traveled, but like domestically, but not as
Yeah.
like a couple. It was always like family stuff. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to see what it's gonna be like to travel with him. You better pop the fucking question
Yeah. That's
too.
so
I'm tired
fun.
of waiting. You better.
We're manifesting it. We're manifesting it. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's exciting. That's fun. I'm excited. This is gonna be my first trip out of the country. But yeah, no, I think like you just have to be very particular because also it's like they were saying, I was hearing too, like the reason why Mexican authorities didn't like investigate it is so I was like trying to like do some research online or like, what's up with that. But essentially like when Mexican authorities see like two Americans bickering or kind of like getting into an altercation, they really kind of choose not to intervene because in most instances, like those people are going to be on flights back in the States in a couple days. So it's like we're not we're not going to have any jurisdiction once that really happens. So like what's the point of like trying to get into the middle of that? Um, because I thought it was odd that like the Mexican authorities didn't like call her parents and tell her parents what were going on and stuff like that. But apparently they don't really like to intervene in that stuff if they don't have to.
I heard
So
something
that
that they're
was,
not gonna really partake. Like if the U.S. wants to find out, they can. But I heard Mexico's not really gonna partake.
yeah, because those aren't, I think for them, it like comes from a funding standpoint. I don't think that's necessarily right, but I think it's like, if they do that, that's their investigators they have to pay and all of that. And then on top of that, it's like they're not Mexican citizens. So I don't know if they can technically like convict them and hold them in a jail in Mexico or whatever. So I think that's why her family, like I said, it was like $6,000 that they had to pay to, it's really expensive to fly your body from another country into the country if you die overseas. But it's like, you have to be so careful. That's like I've even thought about that with like going to my trip to Tulum. Like I don't really think I'm gonna be doing a ton of
I
like
think about
drinking because
that
like you're in a foreign,
as a mom. about literally everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you have to. I can't be in Mexico pissed drunk walking around on the sidewalks. Like, it just does not work like that. Like, I don't know this country. I don't know these
Oh, and
people.
Mexico has a
I'm
lot of murders.
clearly, yeah, I'm clearly foreign. Like, I'm not from here. Like, that's just not, like, you have to be a lot smarter in those situations. Like, you cannot just be crazy and like not aware of your surroundings and what's going on around you. So I just think it's just so crazy though. It's like it's so sad. Like you hear about people going and like it being the alcohol or it being like drug cartels, but to like your kid to go away on a trip with her best friends, her so-called best friends,
Mm,
um, and to like them come back and your daughter not come back with them and told that she died from alcohol poisoning and then come to find out
not.
alcohol had nothing to do with it, that her friends beat her up and left her for dead. Like, why did nobody call the take her to a hospital when they realized she was injured?
Mm, I don't know. It's
Like,
just, it's gross. It's just, you just got to be careful. And like, you got to trust your gut. Because I really wish she was still here so I can ask her, like, questions like, did you not, like, what made you feel like they were safe people to be around?
yeah. And she was young. She was 25. But I'll say too, she was also 25. Like, I've had friends. And like sometimes I will say, like, she was someone who was on a very positive upward trajectory, especially for her age to be as successful and as driven as she was. And I think at those times in your life, it's a little hard sometimes too, because I feel like I'm very intuitive and I pick up on energy very well, but I also feel like that came from a lot of life experience. Um, like that I've had in my 20s. And I mean, I've definitely had friends. I mean, even in the last year and a half, 2 years, that were people that I hung out with all the time, daily. People that were the people were like my COVID group during COVID, like the only friends that I would see, my little bubble, that I'm not friends with and I don't hang out with anymore because that they're not taking care of themselves and their life is not on a good upward trajectory, and the good vibes that I got from them in the beginning are not the same good vibes that I get from them now.
Hmm.
And it took me a while, and I had people in my life that like voiced their concerns to me, and I was kind of like at that moment being like, okay, like why are you hating on my friends? Like, and that's why I say like there are times where people tell you things and it's not an outward projection of what they're feeling. It's constructive criticism, but we don't want to hear it. And then there's other times where it is a projection, and you have to kind of learn how to filter that and know
I feel like it
when you're
sounds
getting what.
different too. I feel like jealousy sounds different than constructive criticism.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. But I had to go through a lot of hard situations with some of those friends to get to the point where I realized like what these people were saying to me was they were right, essentially. Maybe not about everything, but about some things. And I did have to step away from those friendships and those people. And I'm so grateful that I did because I'm in a much better place now. But I've seen some of the really fucked up, not good, like situations they've been in, like getting arrested in other states and stuff like that. And I'm like, God, I'm so grateful that I realized it when I did and I got out of that because those were people that I would travel with. And it's like, imagine had I been in that car with them in those situations, um, that could have been really scary.
mhm.
So you just have to be very selective of who you give your energy to
Hmm.
and
Yeah, because you
who you're traveling with.
never know. Gotta protect
Yeah.
ourselves.
And even who you go out with, like if you have a friend that you go out with that always, like, I know we hate to say it because we want to be ride or die friends, but I'm going to keep it a buck with you. If I have a friend that's going out and they're the friend that's always constantly like picking fights or getting in a fight, I think I've only had one friend ever really get in a fight when we were at a
Oh,
club
I'm not going out with
and
them
we
if
left
that's a trend.
immediately. Yeah, no. you need to like stop hanging out with that friend or stop going out with that friend, because the thing is you never know what people have on you. And we didn't really talk too much about this today, but it's really sad, and I don't know if you guys heard about this, but there was another mass shooting in Colorado. It
Mm-hmm.
was a gay, or they haven't said it was, but it was
No,
clearly
they've
a
said
gay
it
hate
was.
crime. Okay.
Yeah.
So there was a at the gay bar in Colorado Springs, Colorado, which is where I am originally born and from. Someone shot and killed 5 people, and I think 19 people were injured.
Yeah.
And it's like
So what
it's so
I was
sad.
reading about it. What I don't understand is this person brought in a long rifle and shot them up. And I'm just like, how the fuck were they able to get inside that establishment with that shit on? Y'all
Yeah, it's someone probably working there probably let them in. Was probably in on it. It's
had
terrible.
multiple
It's so sad. And it's
firearms.
just
And like how did this happen if
and like
security was actually doing their job?
yeah, literally because they don't pay these security people enough, and they're I mean, think about it. I've known plenty of the bouncers standing outside the club when I've gone out in Charlotte at a lot of the places I go to. And like I hate to say this, but it's like they're just checking IDs. Like they're not doing their due diligence. Like and it's ridiculous. And thank God that some people were brave enough to stop like jump on this person and disarm this person and stop them. Um and prevent even more people getting killed and injured, but it's just so sad, and it just makes it so crazy
It's
that
now
like
saying he injured 25 others
oh my
before
god,
people stopped him.
that's so it's so ridiculous and so sad. But it's like we clearly have a gun issue in this country, no one's doing anything about it, and it's like you just never know, you never know what someone's carrying, you never know what someone has. Like I'm one of those people, I am not one of those people who is pulling out their phone recording when people are fighting. When I see people fighting and stuff is like shit's starting to go down in the club, me and my friends were like, no, it's time to go. Like, I don't want to stick around and see what's going to happen. I don't want to, I'm not trying to put it on World Star. Like, no, like, I value my life. And it's just so sad because me and my friends were talking about this morning when we heard about the Colorado shooting. And we were like, it just like they're like, "Do you ever have the thought before you go out?" And I'm like, "Oh, all the time." Like even not when I'm going out, even when I'm going to the movie theaters, when I'm going out to eat, when I'm going to the mall. I was in the mall yesterday shopping, and I had that thought in my mind yesterday at the mall. I looked around and I was like very like, "Okay, I want to get in and out of here because I don't feel comfortable being in areas and places where there's a lot of people sometimes because I feel like it just makes an easy target for people to go in and do crazy, stupid, dumb shit.
Hmm.
Yeah, they put signs on the door at the mall that say you can't bring weapons in, but like
Who's really
bad people don't give a
regulating
fuck
that?
about those
Yeah.
signs.
Who's really
Yeah,
regulating that?
exactly.
I even get
And
like
like,
that at home, to be honest. Like I have a whole like ritual I do before I go to bed. And it's gross because I can't like go to sleep until I do it. It's like I check my stove and oven to make sure it's off. Then I go around, double check to make sure like the screen door is locked, the sliding glass door is locked, the garage door is locked, the front door is locked. Then I turn the alarm on. I double check all the lights, and then I like have to make sure all the doors in the house are locked. Like going upstairs, and I'm just like, no one's gonna.
yeah, no, absolutely. It's just it's insane. So it's like be safe out here, guys. Like literally, really pay attention to your friends. I kind of love that we just talked about red flags too. Like, really pay attention to that stuff. Like, listen to how people, what they're saying when they're around you, how they act
Mhm.
around you, how they act in public, how they treat other people.
Mhm.
Like, because, and like, really, consider who you're going with and what you're doing when you're going out of, whether it's out of the country, whether it's 3.5 hours down the road to the fucking nightclub, like, whatever you're doing, like, just really be aware of like who you're going with and who's around you, because I mean, ultimately, you are the people that you're with. And that's the crazy thing about all these other people is like, I think there was a couple girls, like there was a girl named Winter, and I think there was another girl that was there. And like, I would hope to say that not all of them were terrible people, and some of them probably, um, like, you know, the one girl is the one that beat her up, and those other people, they were all
They're
there
just as
now. So
guilty.
like now you're a part of
Yeah, they're
that.
just as
Yeah, well,
guilty.
that's what I'm saying. Like now you're a part
Hmm.
of that, and you're included in that, and you could be held accountable for that. I mean, honestly, I feel like as they should be, because someone should have immediately called a doctor. But it's like, you know, if you weren't around those people, you wouldn't be in that
Hmm.
situation. And so I think it's just something to be aware of. And also, like, we're just too old for that shit.
We are
Like,
too old for that shit.
use your words. If you have like the power of words, like, use your words. You can talk to people. Like, you know, when my best friend texted me the other day and he wanted to talk, did I know it was going to be a difficult and a hard conversation? Yeah. Was I anxious about it? Yeah. But like, we ended the phone call laughing and, you know, being in a good place, and none of that anxiety and all of that was there. And if there's anything I've learned in life, I would so much rather talk and have a conversation, because that feels big and it feels hard in the moment of having to do it. But I look back on my life of all the times that I didn't use my words, and I ended up in a 10 times worse and harder situation because I just decided I was too scared to like speak up and use my words. So it's like, I think the power that talking has to like change your life, and there's so much hard shit that you can
Hmm.
avoid. Like I promise you, there's so much harder shit that you can avoid by using your words. But if you choose not to use your words, you know, it festers
Hmm.
and it piles up and it comes out and manifests in ugly
Hmm.
ways. And, you know,
Yeah,
next thing you know, you're a murderer.
beautifully said. Because this one thing that I learned, like at work all the time, it's always like angry versus crazy. You can be angry at all you want and pop at the mouth, but when it's the angry person meets the crazy person's going to win every time. And
Yeah.
it's just a sad, sick, scary world. So you always got to protect yourself. But beautifully said, JoJo.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, guys, make sure to like, comment, subscribe,
Hmm.
follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And thanks for tuning in for another
Yeah,
one.
we love you.
Love you. Bye. Let's be real.
Let's get into it. Let's have some fun.